What's going on, buddy? My name is ZealetPrince, and welcome back to yet another reaction. And as you can tell by the background, we are watching a scary video because the lights are off except for my ring light. You need to see my face. Today we are checking out Warning. Don't play the soul game. It's an SFM creepypasta. And this is made by Bloodsplit Studio. And after just taking a quick look at their channel, it seems like they specialize in making SFM creepypastas. So if you guys enjoy this video and want me to watch more creepypastas from Bloodsplit Studio in the future, let me know in the comment section because I will definitely start doing that. I love reacting to creepy stuff, even though it scares the absolute hell out of me. But hey, if you're scared during these videos, you're having a good time. That means you're interactive with the whole thing. And a little side note I have to quickly mention before we start. If you are a regular viewer of the channel, you would know that I once spoke about some of my own paranormal encounters in the past. Well, about 3 or so weeks ago, prior to today's recording, I had a pretty scary encounter where I was working. I was being stalked by a shadowy figure of a man, huddling around a corner watching me. I caught a glimpse of him. He had no facial features. Nothing at all, just a complete shadowy figure of a man just standing there staring at me. It scared me so bad that I was on edge for the rest of my shift that night. And so much so that I literally bought this so I can wear it at work now. I haven't gotten it blessed yet. I haven't had a chance. The last couple of weeks at work have been extremely busy. So much so that I haven't even had a chance to go speak to my priest. So I get that blessed and another cross that I bought blessed. Actually, I'll show you it real quick. I'll be 100% honest. For the last, pretty much actually all of my life, I've never had a cross or worn a cross on me or had one in my room. But after that particular encounter, I was scared out of my life because I've seen shadowy figures of objects and insects. This was the first time in memory, off the top of my head, I can remember I've ever seen an actual shadow person appear in front of me. And I felt a malicious intent from this thing too. So I was absolutely scared out of my mind. But no, it was pretty scary. I've never had it be that focused. Okay, it's never been that close to me. It was like 20 or so feet away from me. And I managed to caught it by chance. It was scary as hell. But aside from my own paranormal encounter, we should actually get to the actual scary video that we are here to talk about. But I just wanted to talk about that because I haven't reacted to any, really any scary videos since probably before that incident. Off the top of my head, at least. Aside from Server Blight, but that's more its own kind of horror. Not like ghost horror. Alright, anyway, I'm done talking. Let's get into it. In 3, 2, 1, boom.
First, I need to apologize to you. I'm so sorry. I'm coming to you in my time of need. Please help me. Please listen to the end. That's it. That's all I ask. I don't know what to do or where to turn. Please, just help me. That's all I ask. My name is Andrew, and I'm a single father. I don't tell you this like it's some badge of honor. And I'm expecting cookies, milk, and chocolate-covered snowflakes, like most of the others in my social circle would. They want your pats on the back and recognition. I just want some of your time. I see fatherhood as a burden. Necessary, yes, but still a burden. My son's name is Jesse. He's 11. Jesse started the 5th grade this year, like any other kid would. There was a little bit of trepidation and lots of excitement. He was a happy-go-lucky sort of kid, full of life and energy. All that changed after he met Stan on Tuesday. Stan was a late addition to Jesse's class, a transfer student from another district. Jesse's teacher sat Stan next to Jesse.
I don't like the way he's smiling.
When I picked Jesse up after school on Tuesday, he told me that Stan was his new best friend. He wasn't acting like himself though. He was pale and sweaty. I took his temperature, but he wasn't running a fever. I asked about his day, and all he would tell me was that Stan was his new best friend. "Stan's my new best friend," Jesse would say. "I know. I can't wait to meet him," I'd say back. "Dad, Stan's great. You should meet him. He's my new best friend.
Flags.
The best in the world." We must have had this same conversation 1,000 times that night. When I tucked Jesse into bed, he looked up at me with tears in his eyes. He put his little hand in front of his face and wiggled his index finger, telling me to come closer. I bent over him and he put his hands to either side of his mouth. You know, the little kid way of telling a secret. Well, I turned my head and he whispered something into my ear that chilled me.
What'd he
At the
say?
time, I didn't know why it chilled me, but it did.
What'd he say?
He whispered, "You believe me, right, Dad?" I sat back up and looked down at him. "Believe you about what, bud?" "Stan," he said. "Stan's my best friend." I nodded and took his temperature once more. Again, he wasn't running a fever. I went to bed, but couldn't really sleep that night.
Yeah, that would leave anyone uneasy. Just that encounter alone. I'm gonna make an assumption right now. Is Stan dead? And he's talking to a ghost in his school? I'm just saying that because I know we got some information at the very beginning about Stan being a transfer, but I'm just speculating.
On Wednesday, when I pulled up to the school to drop him off, he got
The way the
this
sun is
really
acting
weird look
is
on his face
unusual.
and told me that he didn't want to go in. "Are you feeling sick?" I asked. "No," he said. He was chewing on his bottom lip like crazy. This was something else I'd never seen him do. "No, I need to go to school." He opened the car door and got out. No goodbye. No I love you. Nothing. He trudged up the front steps of the school with his head down. I let off the brake and turned away to drive to work. A little boy was standing right in front of my car. 2 more seconds and I would have run him over. The boy was pale, with a mop of blonde hair that was almost white, and bright
Isn't
blue
that
eyes.
the good guy from My Hero Academia? I haven't
He
watched My
knocked
Hero
on the hood of
Academia
my car
in a while.
twice, waved.
I only got like up to the end of the Hero Killer saga. That's pretty much where I was, because that's where I left off for a while, and that's when I last watched My Hero Academia. I know I need to catch up, but that's where I was at the time.
Once,
Forgot his name.
and walked up the stairs to school. When I picked Jesse up after school on Wednesday, he looked a lot better. He was a tiny bit paler than normal, but he seemed happy. He told me all about his day.
Stan
He
again?
told me about dinosaurs and music and math, and then he told me about recess. And then, after math period, we had recess. "Dad, you'll never guess what I did today at recess." "Tell me," I said, smiling to myself as I'm driving. I'm thinking tag, football, keep away. All the things I remember the boys doing at recess when I was that age. Something benign, something normal. "I joined a church." I frowned.
Joined a church?
"A church? At recess?" Jesse nodded. The Church of Stan. I thought it must be some sort of new make-believe game that the kids were playing. What's the Church of Stan? It's Stan's church, Dad. Jessie laughed like I was the silliest person in the world for asking that question. What do you guys do though? You know, as members. Lots of stuff. Today though, we just listened to Stan talk. He was saying some funny words and I got sleepy and dozed off. A bunch of us did. I pulled into the driveway at home and we got out. Was that it? I asked. Things sounded weird for sure, but the kids didn't seem to be doing anything wrong. Stan gave us flyers too.
Flyers?
Jessie pulled out a crinkled up piece of paper and handed it to me. It was a piece of manila paper with 3 words written in black marker. Church of Stan. Again, weird, but nothing wrong. I just thought the boys were playing make-believe. I was wrong. When I picked Jessie up after school yesterday, I could tell that something was very wrong with him. He looked panicked and scared. What's going on, champ? I asked, reaching out to feel his forehead. No fever. We played the soul game today, he said. Jessie's head was on a swivel. He couldn't sit still. He kept looking all around as we headed home. The soul game? I asked. Jessie just nodded and kept trying to look everywhere at once. Beads of sweat dotted his upper lip. What's the soul game? Jessie shook his head no and said nothing. Jessie, what's the soul game? I told him I didn't want to, but he said he wouldn't be my friend anymore if I didn't play. Who wouldn't be your friend? Where were the teachers? Jessie started breathing harder, but still answered. It happened in the church, he said. And then he whispered, teachers aren't allowed in the church. The Church of Stan? I asked. Jessie nodded, and a tear slipped down his cheek. What's the soul game, Jessie?
You need to give an explanation.
You tell me right now, and I'll take care of everything. I can't tell you. I can't. The rules are bad. They're so bad. What about Stan? I asked. Will Stan tell me the rules? No! Jessie screamed this and scared me half to death. Don't ask him the rules. Please don't, Dad. Please. I pulled into the driveway, scared and confused. Promise me, Dad. Promise me, promise me, promise me, promise me, please. Jessie was bawling now, terrified. I took him into my arms.
At this point, I take my son to the hospital to have him looked at. To figure out what the hell is going on. If Stan put him on anything or just mess with him in general. Bullying. I look up into all these options. I know there's a lot. I'm sorry, I just got a glimpse of the Smitty plushie in my camera because I looked at my OBS in this moment because it's on this screen over here. There's another monitor right here. And I don't know why, in this particular lighting, he looks so much more menacing. I don't know why. It's the lighting in this room. Especially that Blake plushie too. All you see, you don't even see the features on that one. You just see pure paleness. Sorry. Still paranoid.
I hadn't rocked him like that since he'd been in kindergarten. He fell asleep in my arms, and I carried him inside. I took him straight to his room and got him ready for bed. He just needs sleep, I kept telling myself. All he needs is sleep. I put him to bed and ate dinner alone. I checked up on him around 9 when I went to bed. He seemed to be sleeping well, so I decided to go to sleep. I woke up to him screaming at the top of his lungs 18 minutes after midnight last night. I ran to his room, but he wasn't in his bed. I turned on the light, and Jesse came flying out of the closet like something was chasing him. He latched onto my leg and kept screaming. I tried to calm him down and ask what was wrong at the same time. He wasn't making any sense. He kept screaming about the soul game. He was impossible. I kept asking what that was, but he wouldn't tell me. I tried to put him back to bed, but he'd have none of it. Finally, I just took him to my room and he slept in my bed. He fell right to sleep. I was lying on my side, watching him, stroking his hair, when his eyes popped open and he stared right into mine. "I'll tell you the rules after school tomorrow, mister," he said.
Oh, it's not his son.
He closed his eyes.
His son's
What
possessed.
was going on with my kid? In the darkness, I stared at the ceiling for a long time.
As soon as he said, "Mister," that kid is possessed by a demon. Whatever Stan did to him, they must have performed a seance.
Before rolling over onto my side.
A seance, if you don't know, is like trying to conjure and speak to ghosts.
And staring into the bathroom. You know how when you're on the edge of sleep, sometimes your leg will kick and jerk you awake?
Yep.
Or you'll imagine that you're falling, or that you've just tripped over something and get jerked awake.
In my case, I don't know why, this is very specific. In my case, when I get jerked awake by like a sudden part of the dream, it's always a basketball. I don't understand it. I can only speculate because back in middle school, I got hit in the back of the head, like twice with a basketball. Both times wasn't even my fault. A basketball just came flying at me from the other side of the gym, hit me in the back of the head. And this happened twice, by the way. I think ever since then, whenever I'm like on the verge of sleep, this is like very rare, by the way. I'm just in a dark room with like a single light in front of me, and a basketball just keeps bouncing until it hits me in the face, and it just wakes me up. That's what jerks me awake. I don't know why. It's very specific. I don't get it.
That happened to me all last night. Only I kept being ripped from sleep by seeing something in the doorway to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Every time my eyes would start to slip shut, I'd see the dark outline of something large in the doorway.
I stand.
And wake up with a start. Of course.
See, hold on. That's what I saw, but with no eyes. Just a figure of a man just standing there. That's what I saw. Going back to earlier in this video. That's what I saw. Not in the model, just a normal person about my height, 6 foot. I'm 6'3", but it was like 6 foot. Just standing there, but its arms were wrapped around the wall, and it was just looking at me. Anyway.
And wake up with a start. Of course, nothing would be there.
I haven't seen anything here yet.
And I'd start falling asleep
I've heard
again.
things, though.
The outline would appear in the doorway once more, but it would be closer to me, like it had taken a baby step. Over and over this happened until morning. This morning on the way to school, Jessie seemed out of it, lethargic. I felt the same way. I was even more exhausted. I thought of asking Jessie about what he'd said right before he fell asleep, but I couldn't. I was afraid it'd send him into hysterics again, so I left it alone. I drove him to school, and he didn't say a word the whole time. He was acting like a robot, listless, unemotional. I got a call, shortly after dropping him off, to come pick him back up. He'd vomited in class. When I picked him up, he was the same. I asked him several questions, but he only gave me grunts in response. The plan at home was to get him changed out of his dirty clothes, and then take him to the doctor. He didn't say anything until we pulled into the driveway. "Can Stan come over today?" he asked. He stared out of the windshield at the garage door. "You're not feeling well, bud, and do you really want him to come over?" I wanted to meet this kid, but it didn't sound like Jesse wanted him over.
Yeah.
I, however, wanted to get to the bottom of things. "Yes," Jesse said. "Okay," I said. "Do you have his parents' number?" He already asked his parents, and they said it was okay. "We have to wait until he's out of class, and I'd still like to talk to his parents." "Okay." Jesse got out of the car, and we walked into the house. I started to ask him how I was supposed to talk to his parents if I didn't have their number, but someone knocked on the door. I was still standing right next to it. I opened the door, and standing on my front step was the pale little boy with the blue eyes and mop of white blonde hair that I'd almost run over on Wednesday. A little girl stood next to him with the same complexion. "Yes?" I asked. "Hi, Rue," the little boy said. "Is Jesse home?" The little boy standing on my front porch shouldn't have known that name. It was my nickname from college, created on a drunken night amongst my buddies, the second half of my name. "No," I said. "That's fine," the little girl said. "My name is Devin, and you already know my brother's name." "Stan," I said. The little girl covered her mouth and giggled. Stan smiled and shrugged. "It's really quite simple. Rule 1, don't walk past mirrors in the dark.
Oh, this whole
Rule
game of
2,
rules.
don't leave any doors open when you go to bed tonight. Ask your son what Rule 3 is. And remember, a creak means you're falling behind. A rustle means you've almost lost. When the lights go down, hopefully you won't see the dark shadow standing in the corner of the room. Hopefully you won't hear it breathing as your eyes shut and you begin to drift off. And if you hear a bang, well, hopefully you never hear a bang." Stan turned and walked away with his sister. I stared after them both and shook my head. I wouldn't play their stupid game. I walked into the house.
What about the blonde kid?
And found Jesse sitting at the kitchen table, crying. "What's wrong?" "I heard a bang," he whispered. My mouth went dry. "When does the game end?" "It doesn't. It never ends." My heart started beating faster. "What's the third rule, Jesse?"
What is it?
His face fell, and he sucked in a deep breath. "Rule 3. Knowing all 3 rules makes you a player." My stomach dropped.
Shit.
"What happens if you lose?" "When it's dark, you'll hear them coming. They like to let you know when they're getting close." "Who?" "Stan and Devin," Jesse said. "They'll reach out through the mirrors,
I knew it!
doorways,
The spirits!
and drag
Wait, what
you
about the
through.
blonde kid then?
How do you win?" "You win if you tell more people the rules to the soul game than the person that told you does. Like I said, listeners, I'm so sorry. But thanks for helping. Really. I'm going to enjoy my newfound freedom, and I hope that you enjoy your night. Give Stan and Devin my best."
So wait, what about the blonde kid? What was the explanation for him? Well, at least I was right. at the beginning of this video, when I was talking about Stan being possibly a ghost or spirit, I was right on point. I was right. That was just a complete guess. And when they were explaining the rules, you know what video SFM came to my mind? If you know this, let me know in the comment section. But if you ever seen the SFM adaptation of the Midnight Game with a blue heavy as the protagonist for the video, if you have, let me know in the comment section. But no, this whole thing, and I like that twist at the end too. That's what makes Creepypastas also very interesting. That little twist at the end of the video where it gets switched on you. Because now that he told us the rules, we're players now. Sorry, guys. But, no, I was right. But what was the explanation with the blonde kid? Which, honestly, made no sense, because I didn't get it. Like, why was he there? He only speared, like, twice, and that was it. But either way, I enjoyed that. So, like, and I'll definitely be checking out more creepypastas later on in the future. If you actually, I have a genuine question for you guys. Do you guys like the creepy stuff I watch? Because I think I think I got a good quarter of the content I have reacted to over the last couple of years, well, several years now actually, have been mostly horror related, and a good sum of that portion takes up is actually SCP. But if you guys enjoy my horror related content, let me know in the comment section. And as I said in the beginning of this video, I will be checking out more of Blood Split Studios' SFM creepypastas in the future. So if you guys want to stick around, wait for those, let me know and subscribe. Without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!